Good evening. I've been really extremely disappointed with negative posts in this platform. I am disappointed that people can't think for themselves nowadays. And I am extremely concerned of the pornographic material that you are posting in vulnerable people's inbox, causing them alarm and distress. And all of this is because somebody's trying to coerce you into thinking the way they think. So whilst they are trying to say that us women, or I don't understand what it's like to be abused, raped, and a victim of coerce and grooming. Oh, I do. And so does many in this group. But because we're not fighting for what they want us to fight for and how they want to project, good evening, Bianca, and how they want to project how we should think. So they promote hate and an argument. There is no argument. There we go, we're back. Words are very, very powerful. And didn't words get us here in the first place? People bullying people telling us what to do and how to think. Learn to think for yourself. But to expose and to bully people into, and I use the word bully, because when you are sending pornographic material into people's inboxes, unwanted material, you are imposing your hatred and your silly games on other people. Now, you didn't stop to think sending indecent images over into innocent people's box, how it would be a trigger. You didn't even stop to consider if they were victims of rape or victims of any of that. Now, yesterday, I had a young lady who was absolutely upset because these people took screenshots and put them all over their group. This lady's identity was unnecessarily put on a group because she didn't take sides. She wanted to think for herself. We are victims. I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor of abuse. We may have had things done in our past, but do you know how much time it takes to focus on a perpetrator or something or what they've done? How much time is that? I always say, if somebody is doing something to you constantly, they are so fixated on getting revenge. Revenge doesn't do anyone any good. It just makes you as bad as them. Now, I had to remove certain posts today because we had swearing, abuse, everything that I stand against. Whether somebody is right or wrong, spurting off abuse to somebody and trying to coerce people, innocent people, into your way of thinking is absolutely distressing and literally should be investigated. I have vulnerable people on here who are telling me their inboxes are being, what's being put in their inbox is pornographic images, trying to belittle another human being. Whether that human being has done something in the past, whether that human being is doing something in the present, is entirely for the police to deal with and not anybody else. That is what the law is there for. All inquiries, anything you have an issue with, you take and report it to the police. Guys, if you have received any indecent images, I'm not even going to mention the person's name, any indecent images in your inboxes, please do not look at them, delete them and report it. That site needs to be closed down. I understand that people want revenge, but is it your revenge to have? The people that have been victims of crime need to find their voice. But equally, every time you keep concentrating on a perpetrator, it consumes your life. It consumes your energy. You don't know who you are in the end because you are so fixated on revenge. And then you're always crashing on the mental health side because you are so fixated on somebody else's life rather than your own. And for anybody out there who has had anything untoward happen to them, report it. Don't suffer in silence. Report it. But also make sure that evidence doesn't be tarnished. Report it. Don't take matters in your own hands. Let the police do whatever they've got to do and try and rebuild your life, because I have seen many a people consumed years after years after years because they have been abused, or because they've been a victim of domestic violence, or because they've been unimaginably, painfully hurt in some way. Hatred. Of course you're angry, you're running for a load of emotions. And when you stick up for somebody else, you stick up for them because you know what it feels like, because you had it done to you. But if some of us people out there are not acting, or reacting, should I say, in the way that the other group members are, from another platform, are acting, they're acting with vengeance, hate and venom. And they think that we're wrong for handling it the way we are handling it. Sorry, we have been victims also of the same, maybe even worse, accusations that are flying around at the moment. But we are not acting with hate, revenge, hurt, pain. Equally, of course the person's hurting. Of course you're doing damage. But you're not only doing damage to the person that you want revenge to, you're doing damage to everybody you are inboxing pornographic images to. You are absolutely doing damage. It's almost like you're trying to say, if you do not agree with me, I'm going to send you pornographic images. Not only am I going to do that, I'm going to screenshot who you are, what your name is, and put you all over our Facebook. That's what they've gone and done to innocent people. And I think it's absolutely disgusting. If you want revenge, Do pay Inspector Cluedo. Do what you've got to do. Take it to the police. If the police ain't prosecuting, then, wow, what can I say? Many of us never had a case going to court either. But we have to get on with our life. Many of us have been let down by the system also, and there are people out there still doing the things that we know they done. And you know, we see them every day, but we don't act in rage. We don't humiliate ourselves. We don't belittle ourselves. There was a time in my time where I did do that. I'll admit, before I transformed my life and realised that anger and hatred and negative energy is really what people thrive on, and it destroys lives. Once upon a time, before I realised that even your worst enemy needs some support. People say people wouldn't, if I wouldn't help him up. If he was sinking, I wouldn't help him up. People would say that. They wouldn't help their worst enemy up. But you know what? I would. People are allowed to move forward, but if they're still doing what they're doing, then I believe at the end of the day, they do need stopping. But it's the police that has to gather that evidence. Don't tarnish the evidence. You tarnish the evidence, you lose the case. So you really do need to do things correctly, not incorrectly. You cannot go around destroying people's lives and saying, don't speak to him because he done this and he done that. Whose fight is it? What I'm hearing is people are saying, well, I heard this and I heard that. Well, you're not the victim. The victim should be saying something. The victim should be saying something. And the way that people go around doing things, slating people all over Facebook, picking on innocent people in inboxes that they don't even know, screenshotting people's groups or names and posting it in their own groups to humiliate the people that disagree with the way they are. Nobody supported, nobody knows anybody personally in some of these groups. Do we support people? I don't support people's behaviour. I support how they handle their words. Because words are very powerful. It's how they handle their words, how they carry themselves, and what they do for society. But if they're hurting people, I totally disagree with that. I would disagree. But me, what I do, if I know somebody's doing something wrong, I would gather my facts and I would handle my business and I would report it with the facts and a caseload and then say, look into this. Ranting and raving all over Facebook and belittling people makes you just as bad as the person you're trying to slate, for you are slating innocent people. You are literally... Do you know what? It's really great having your own minds, but at least I don't want people to tell me that at the end of the day I'm siding with somebody that is abusing someone. Hell no, I'm not. But I have a voice. And I have a voice to say that it's down to the police to do their investigation. How must I act? Well, considering we do suicide prevention and crime rehabilitation and crime prevention, we must honour what we say on the tin. We must not discriminate. So if we had an inkling where we had to safeguard somebody, like I feel like I need to safeguard the vulnerable people that are being subject to this profanity being put in our inbox. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Guys, if you have been a victim of something, I would love for you to be a survivor, not a victim. You can give back and you can teach well. Now, here's an example. So I don't take sides, because there are two sides to every story, and I must see people for who they are and how they treat me. But the person that all stirred up all the stuff, it wasn't his fault, but has removed themselves. And I don't get it. Why would you remove yourself? Sometimes you have to stand up. If you have done no wrong, you have to stand up and be counted. If you've already been judged for something in the past, must you carry that on for the rest of your life? We've all got a past. We've all done wrong things. But it's how we progress in life and what we do with our life to try and better our life. Now, I'm no judge or jury, and I didn't want to be no judge or jury. I just wanted to deliver how not to be. How not to be aggressive, bitchy, and letting other people see your hatred. You brought negativity into my group. So if you don't like what I say, and if there's any more slating or belittling another human being in my group, I will remove you automatically. And you will be reported. Bullying of any nature is not permitted in my group. We haven't got time for school ground, playground stuff. I am not doing an investigation online. I'm here to say I'm not the one. You need to take that to the legal way. It's not fair. It's not fair making somebody else pay for somebody else's pain. We're not his victims. But there are somebody who is saying they are a victim, and we must take note that never disbelieve somebody when they say something happened to them. But we just can't keep taking matters in our own hands, seeking revenge, which is eating all the time, consuming the energy. It's better spent trying to help somebody else, and it's better spent standing up, not sinking in depression because somebody once hurt you. The best thing you can do is get up, smile. It happened, but you hold your head up. Have no shame. If it happened, it happened, but we have to go forward. The best thing you can do is survive, live life, and be happy. Because deep down, when people do something wrong to somebody, they have to carry the guilt, and they have a guilty conscience, and they have to make peace the way they have to make peace. Make sure your conscience is clear, that you're not nasty, you're not venomous, you're kind. If somebody has the trouble, they have to deal with it. You can't go around fighting other people's battles for them. You can guide them. Ask somebody, look, if that happened to you, you need to speak up. You need to go to these correct messages. You need to go and report these things to the necessary authorities. That's what you should be doing. Be supportive that way. Because equally as you're trying to shame that person, your behaviour is shaming the person that you're trying to represent. Just got to do it the right way, not the wrong way. Anyone out there that is suffering from anything, I wish them to, whatever it is, get back up, try and correct it, but don't make other people suffer. Don't do it. And it's been my birthday today, and yet I was bombarded with text after text after text. And I set it aside, and I decided to just do it once and for all. I do not want any profanities sent to anybody. If anybody receives any of those, don't open them, report it, and delete the people, and delete the content. Do not hold the content in your inbox because it may be deemed as harmful. Please delete the content. Sickening behaviour, and it's not right. They have no idea, have they? They didn't think about the triggers. Because, you see, some people could just be watching and they could be on here for a little bit of help. And when somebody receives pornography in an inbox and such graphic images, they don't think about the person receiving it and how it may affect their mentality and how it might even be a trigger. They don't think about that, do they? No, because they're too bent out getting revenge. Not thinking about anybody else who gets hurt in the meantime. Like a herd of elephants trampling on the vulnerable whilst they seek revenge. If we all seeked revenge for what our perpetrators done to us, I'm sure that there'd be a lot of prison sentence. Not only that, even if there is a prison sentence, you think about it, it takes time away from your family and friends. Again, perpetrator wins. Come on. How much time are you going to let perpetrators take of your life? How much time? You deserve a life. You deserve a life with not speaking about their name. Are they worthy of continuing to have their name projected out in the universe all the time, so you're repeatedly reminding of the crimes and the acts that these people done? Because you're constantly talking about it. How do you move forward if you keep... They're not worthy of consuming your brain with their name. It's not your shame. You've got to get your happiness on. I spent so many years, absolutely so many years, not figuring out why I was crushing with mental ill health and self-harming and drinking and all of those things, all because of a perpetrator. Wow. The masking all of that. But not once did I ask anybody to fight my battles. Not once did I turn around and say to somebody, can you help me go to the police station? Not once did I tell everybody to go on, don't talk to him no more, and slate him all over the place and do all of that. Not once did I do that. Oh, God, no, I wasn't going to let the perpetrator know that. They got me. I was trying to be as happy as possible, but deep down I was suffering inside. It's not revenge I wanted. I wanted my life back. I wanted what they took. And now when I look back, I realise what a battle that was to even figure out what life was and why they did what they did. And boy, revenge. I didn't want blood on my hands. I didn't want to go to jail because of revenge. That's where you would land, in jail, because of revenge. You're equally responsible for the people that you don't like. People act big and bad. They do stupid things. In fact, they do the most grotesque things. And their image and their reputation is something they have to deal with if they have done something wrong. But you, the survivor, not the victim, the survivor. You get to have a life conscience-free that you've done nothing wrong. So you should go and live a life. Wow, what's life about, hey? Life's for living and not consuming your mind with stuff that has happened all the time, where it's taking over your life. You're depressed, you can't get up in the morning, you don't know what's wrong, and then all of a sudden it's not just the one thing that you've got an issue with, maybe because you've got a problem with rent or something like that, or low income. You pile everything else that on top that's ever happened in your past. But when you could just deal with just the one issue that came through the door, rather than piling everything up else on top of your past, you'd see that you could plan a better day for the next day. Do things positive. Focus on yourself and don't be led. Be a leader. Don't be conformed to somebody else's way of thinking. It's almost like when, you could go to church and somebody would say, right, you've got to keep coming to church and this, that and the other. That people should have free will to do what they want to do. So that's what I'm saying in this whole statement, is free will, not being forced to be told how to think or how to think about an individual, or how you should act towards another individual because of their crimes. Every day we come across somebody that's got some kind of record. We shake hands with people we know nothing about. Must we go through Facebook nowadays and sit there and go through every single person's past before we could even let them on the Facebook? We don't know who's coming on the Facebook groups. We don't know. So we shouldn't have to be a target because an individual comes on the Facebook and they've got a bad reputation and some activity that they are accused of doing. We don't know anything about them. We just take people on face value. But when we get bombarded with nasty messages, it's almost like they're trying to train us how to think. Well, you can't, because we can think for ourselves. Still someone's son, still someone's daughter. Pain is pain, but you can't get your life back. Don't consume it with hate and revenge. Don't consume yourself with revenge and hate. It takes up your life. Right, well, on a positive note, tomorrow's going to be great. And thank you everybody for who wished me happy birthday today. And, well, let's just get some peace and quiet now from the negative vibes. And live a little. It's my birthday. And I said it. And also another thing. You talk about resentment, rejection. Sometimes things are there to challenge you. How you handle things, how you act. I see when people project things onto me, I suppose they want me to effing swear and all of those things and act like them. I can't. For their way hurts. And we don't do hurt. We do healing. Take care. God bless.